One of the biggest lies about bankruptcy is that you'll lose everything. If you read anything about bankruptcy on the internet or talk to people about bankruptcy, what you will hear is that your possessions are going to be sold. I want to share with you a fact. I've been practicing 30 years, and one of the lies that persists is that property is going to be sold in a Chapter 7, and it's simply not true. In fact, here is a shocking statistic. In only 3% of Chapter 7 cases are assets liquidated or sold, and that includes corporate bankruptcies. I want to be very clear. Bankruptcy laws allow and provide for the sale of non-exempt assets, but in most cases, that doesn't happen. The reason no possessions are sold in bankruptcy in 99% of the time is a combination of law and economics. There are mainly three reasons why assets aren't sold in a Chapter 7. One, your assets are protected by your exemptions or simply what you get to keep. Or your non-exempt assets have no meaningful sale value to the trustee. Or you pick Chapter 13 where you keep your assets and pay your creditors in some fashion. The trustee is the individual in the bankruptcy process who examines your assets to see if there's any value to sell the assets and pay creditors. There is a rule in bankruptcy that when a trustee sells an asset, it must result in a meaningful distribution to creditors. In many cases, that simply doesn't happen. The process is relatively simple. The trustee reviews and investigates the asset, and if that asset can't result in a meaningful distribution to creditors, he abandons the asset and that asset goes back to the debtor. And this happens regularly. In fact, in most cases after a bankruptcy is filed, the court clerk labels the case a no-asset case soon after filing. Why do these big lies persist about bankruptcy? Well, it could be a combination of things. To scare certain consumers into not filing, to think that more Chapter 7s are going to result in the sale of assets, or people are simply not educated to understand the intricacies of Chapter 13 and how Chapter 13 is available if you do have too many assets. It's important to do your homework and speak to a bankruptcy professional instead of relying on Google as a research tool. My job as a bankruptcy lawyer is not only to combat those fears and lies, but to educate my clients towards a better financial future. My name's Attorney Lee Perlman. I'm a New Jersey bankruptcy attorney. If you or someone you know is dealing with financial distress, have them reach out for a free consultation. We always say that seeking a consultation with a bankruptcy firm doesn't mean you're filing bankruptcy, but it means you're understanding what your options are.